Hi, and welcome to Cooking in Mike's Backyard. Today we're going to be doing another video in the college cooking series. I'm going to show you how to make a delicious homemade meatloaf. To make this dish, you're going to need to get 1.5 pounds of ground beef, pound of Italian sausage, get the mild, don't get the spicy, some bacon, an onion, Worcestershire, breadcrumbs, and ketchup. So in a bowl, take the 1.5 pounds of ground beef and the pound of Italian sausage and mix it together with your hands. You want to try to mix it up thoroughly. After you get it mixed up, set it in the refrigerator while you prep the other ingredients. All right, so the first thing you do after you get the meat mixed up is you're going to cut half an onion up and you're going to dice it. Cut it in half. Set that aside, we'll use it later. Cut the end off. Peel off the skin. Once you get the onion peeled, just cut it in half. Put it on its side. Make cuts, not all the way through, just leave about 1/4 of an inch at the end. And then slice it long ways, watching out, make sure you don't cut off your fingers. And this little end piece, you're just going to cut it up into pieces. You want to end up with about 1 cup of diced onions, maybe 1.5 cups. In a frying pan, heat up about 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Once the olive oil is hot, you're going to add the onions. And just saute them until they turn brown. After a minute or so, you're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of pepper and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Stir it around. You want the salt and pepper to thoroughly coat the onions. Once they're going to start browning up, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire and 1/3 cup of ketchup. You want to mix that around. Let it simmer for about 2 minutes. After it's simmered for 2 minutes, take it off the heat and let it rest for about 10 minutes until it cools down a little. So while the onion mixture is cooling, we're going to make a bacon wrap for the meatloaf. That looks really great. As you know, I think that presentation of your food is really important. So let me show you how to do something that's pretty cool. All right, so to do this, you're going to take 3 strips of bacon, lay them out about 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches apart, lengthwise. Take the middle strip of bacon, peel it down, and then set a strip of bacon right there. All right, now for this one, start pulling them up this way. And again, you're going to set it about 1 inch to 1.25 inches apart. And you're just making basically a bacon weave. All right, so once you get the a 3x4 weave done, take a second piece of plastic wrap and just cover it up. You're going to put the whole thing on a plate and put it in the refrigerator while you finish making the meatloaf. I realized at the beginning of the video I forgot to mention you're also going to need 2 eggs. So just take the eggs, put them in a bowl, and with a fork, just lightly beat them. Take your ground beef out of the refrigerator, add the egg mixture, half a cup of breadcrumbs, and the onion mixture. Making sure to scrape that pan. You want to get all of that in there as you can. And then you want to mix it up. But when you're mixing it up, try to be somewhat gentle. You don't want to compress the meat. you want to mix it up, but at the same time, you kind of want the meat to be a little loose. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a pretty dense meatloaf. All right, there you go. Now let's make it into a loaf. Take a loaf pan, take a piece of plastic wrap, and put it into the pan so that it adheres to the contours of the pan. Once you got that in place one going the other way. Same situation. You want to get it into the nooks and crannies of that pan. All right, so once the plastic wrap is in the pan, you're just going to fill it up with meat. Again, you don't want to press down too hard because you don't want to make a meat brick. You want to make a meat loaf. Just like that. Lay out the bacon blanket, peel off the top layer of plastic wrap. Then you take your meatloaf out of the pan, peel down the plastic wrap. So it looks like that. And then put it in the center of your bacon blanket. You can take this opportunity to make sure it looks good. All right, and then we're just going to wrap the bacon onto the meatloaf. Just like that. Flip the ends up. The bacon should stick to the meat pretty easily. All right. It's okay. It doesn't need to go all the way around. Once it's wrapped in bacon, you're going to put it in a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. Don't use a sheet pan. This, when it cooks down, it puts off a lot of juice. And if you use a sheet pan, it's just going to spill over and cause havoc in your oven. So right before you put it in the oven, you're just going to squirt on regular ketchup, good amount. And then with your hands or a pastry brush, you're just going to rub it all over. Once you got the meatloaf thoroughly coated, we're going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour. Okay, so there you go, delicious meatloaf. You can pair it with some vegetables and mashed potatoes. If you have extra meatloaf left over, you just put it in the refrigerator, slice it up. You can heat it up in the microwave or just make some meatloaf sandwiches. They're delicious. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit like or subscribe. I'm posting videos as often as I can. Have a good day.